The angel, Matt Neal. So pit lane closes in 7 minutes, and it looks as though everyone is ready, bar Tom Coronel.
Knowing what car you have underneath your feet, Hugo, that was probably one of the best drives of the season, I think.
Yeah, was race 2 and when I finished P2 in race in Motegi there. That was really good. Very happy. We're very happy to keep Seb behind, and that also the other Chevrolet are quite far back. Because really good start, really good move on the second turn. Was very happy about that, and I think that was the key of the race. After I was just driving and keeping Seb behind, which I managed to do. So very happy. Now I have to do a good race in race 2 to finish the year on a good note.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
So Hugo Villant will start on the 4th row in 7th place. And there is confirmation of the Yokohama Drivers' Trophy. 2 points between Norby Michelis and Mehdi Benani. Michelis with 8 class wins to Mehdi Benani's 7 now. And they will start 5th and 9th.
Yeah, Chilton was in with an outside chance into race 1, but he's out of it now, so it's really a 2-horse race going into this final one of the night.
Well, another chance for a commercial break before this second race starts. So please do stay with us because we've got lots of action still to come. Well, everything looking rosy in the pit lane if you're everyone but Tom Coronel, because that is the scene outside the Roll Motorsport Chevrolet Cruze garage at the moment. And Matt Neal, that doesn't look very good. The pit lane closes in 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Still plenty of work to do on that Chevrolet Cruze. Well, before we go to Matt, let's actually hear from Tom himself.
Awful lot of oil coming out of Tom Coronel's car, and it's not long before pit lane closes. Tom, what is going on?
Yeah, that was a question of myself as well in race 1. The car's leaking oil at the oil cooler. I didn't touch anybody already from the second lap. It was unpredictable under the braking and unpredictable in the corners. It was leaking oil on my left tire, on my left front and my left rear. As you saw how much oil came out, it was just undrivable. But now I understood why. I said to my engineer, I cannot drive this car, something completely wrong. Well, if you put oil on somebody's tires, of course you're like Bambi on ice. Drama. Drama. Finally, we had a good starting position. Last race is always important. And I got this.
Thanks, Tommy.
Well, your heart bleeds for Tom Coronel because he's meant to start on the front row alongside Jean-Philippe. And the very vocal and animated Tom Coronel there.
He certainly told Alex, didn't he?
Yeah, no one else could have explained it any better.
Well, I mean, it is a great shame because, I mean, he showed good pace before that, and, you know, he was lining up second on the grid, on the front row, so...
He may still get out, because what they need to do here is just get him out onto the grid, and then they can carry on with 1 or 2 things, can they or can't they, Matt?
Yeah, but you don't want, you know, they're probably having to pull the oil cooler off or the line off, which is suspect, and they can't send him out with it half on because the oil will just go, it'll empty the engine, and then you're in a right load of bother. So they've got to, you know, you've got to make it worse before you make it better.
Well, let's hope he gets out, and we'll keep an eye on that. Thank you for all of you that have joined us on Twitter, at Tom Game or at Matt Neal Racing. It's great to have you tweeting in. A tweet from Ian Court Racing. Are the manufacturers allowed to upgrade engines in the season? Citroën don't seem to have as much straight line advantage as they did before.
They are carrying 60 kilos of weight, and you know, weight has a big bearing on acceleration, on braking, as well as cornering. I mean, they're getting his wheels and tyres out, but they're not going to get him out in time. 20 seconds left to go. They haven't even got the wheel arch liners in yet, so which are very, very critical for all the aero in there. So Tom is going to be starting from the back of the grid, unfortunately.
So heartbreak for any Tom Coronel fans. That Roll Motorsport Chevrolet Cruze is not going to get to the pit lane exit, and the light has gone red. The time has counted down. He'll have to start from the pit lane, not the back of the grid, Matt.
Will he be allowed out? That's a good point.
And his head shaking there, and Oh, I can't begin to
Unfortunately, that
imagine.
seems to spell out Coronel's year. He's been there with flashes of speed and brilliance, but it just, some years it doesn't go with you. You know, like we've got Pachito Lopez, who's driven impeccably, but it's gone his way. If there's a, you know, if he's got involved in a big load of fracas in the middle of the pack, he seems to slip his way through and come out the other side. Coronel's had one of the opposite, you know, opposite sort of tones of year.
Yeah, it's heartbreak for Tom Coronel. A story of what could have been. But for Jean-Philippe, he now is on that pole position all by himself. Nicolas Lapierre in his Lada Vesta lining up on the grid. And there's still chanting going on in the background. Can you hear that? I think that's Mehdi Banani's fan club.
Either that or it's a public stoning or something.
Yeah, I don't think that might be tomorrow. Pretty sure it's Mehdi Banani's fan club, and they're still celebrating his first podium of 2015 in that first race. Thiago Monteiro, he'll be looking for better luck this time around. He's got plenty of work to do from his grid spot, 11th on the grid, just ahead of Nicolas Lapierre, we've just seen line up in 12th. Jose Maria Lopez, because of the top 10 being reversed in Q2, is starting 10th. Now, you've got a stat about that, haven't you, Matt, regarding Jose Maria Lopez's second race performance?
Yeah, he's only won one race, one second race of the day this year, which was at Paul Ricard in France. So he's shown blinding speed. He's finished on the podium a few times, but actually getting to the top spot once he's had to start at the back, you know, he struggled coming through the traffic. So, you know, the one thing about this race, the gloves are off. Everyone wants to win it. You know, if your car comes back with a few things hanging off it, then, you know, who cares? We'll just put it in the container and we've got all winter to sort it out and get it re-prepped. So I would imagine there'll be, well, hopefully for us, but there could be a last day of school one for this one. Everyone's going to want, this is their last chance of the year to get a win.
And the fans in the Sebastian Loeb grid spot, Mehdi Banani there, lining up in 9th. Sebastian Loeb mooted to be on his way out, certainly from the factory squad, and I'm pretty sure he will not stay at Sebastian Loeb Racing, or pretty sure he will not go to Sebastian Loeb Racing. I'll give you a clue. The driver who is being rumoured to fill a berth at Sebastian Loeb Racing next year is actually on the grid for this second race. That'll keep you guessing for a while.
Or you're just a tease, Tom, aren't you?
That's what they all say. Hugo Vallant, after his epic performance in the first race, will be 7th on the grid. It's good to see the Chevrolets going well here in the final round. I know they're not carrying any ballast, but nevertheless, it's a good sign for next year. We could have Volvo joining us on the grid as well for 2016. How good is that, Volvo?
Volvo announcing, or have announced a 2-car team, full factory backing to come back with Polestar, so that's great. And there are other manufacturers looking at it. People have asked us questions, which ones, but that's we have to keep our mouths shut for that, which is, I know it's hard for you, Tom. It's even harder for me. We haven't got Haven on the mic, so it's impossible. But no, I mean, Volvo are in, and that's fantastic. You know, they're coming back with 2 Swedish drivers, so it's going to be a real nationalistic thing. And as I say, other manufacturers looking hard at it.
Patriotic. And I remember Volvo competing in British touring cars in the Super Tourer era, and
the car Polestar have announced with looks absolutely beautiful. New TC1, and it's a real peach of a thing. If anyone hasn't seen it, you can if you search for it, it's on the internet already, pictures.
So got a question from Krzysztof Wozniak. I do apologise, I haven't pronounced that right. What's the main difference between NGTC and TC1 and TCR?
Oh, it's a massive difference between them all. You'd have to say TCR is, they're all turbocharged now these days. TCR is more of a production-based, what they would call old Group N formula. They're still very quick. WTCC is more of a spec part formula, trying to keep the cost down, but still quite highly modified, and probably they're a little bit quicker. And then TCR is all guns blazing, you know, big aero, bit lighter, much more expensive for the World Championship. So it's, in cost terms, TCR is affordable, BTC is pretty expensive, and WTC is getting really up there with the big dollars. So it's there's arguable points for all the formulas in there, but TCR is making some progress around the place now.
Indeed. Well, that's why you're sat here in the Eurosport commentary booth, because you're a fountain of knowledge. Now, Gianfilippi has got that front row all to himself. Looks as though Tom Coronel, who would have been filling that berth, is looking to start from the edge of the pit. And look at the rubber there on the grid spot. That just shows you what the drivers are trying to do when they line up just behind the white line.
Poor old Gianfilippi looks a bit lonely there on the front row, doesn't he?
Yeah, I mean, the important thing for him now is he can get the launch on Ivan Muller and Marc-Quing Hua. Well, one more chance to get a commercial break, our last commercial break under our belts, and then race 2 will be live. Gianfilippi leading the field round here in Qatar for race 2 of this 12th round of the 2015 FIA World Touring Car Championship. The final race of the year. It's very much the last day of school now, isn't it? And anything can happen. I think we're going to join Norbert Michelis again. He was so good first time around.
Enjoyed the first race. Now we just on the warm-up lap for the second one. Should be an exciting one because, as you saw in the first one, it's a big battle for the Yokohama Trophy. We are very close with Mehdi. I will do my best to score as many points as possible, also in the overall standings. Please hold your fingers crossed and enjoy the show. Bye-bye.
If he went on any longer, we'd be out of a job, Matt.
He gets better and better, doesn't he? He's giving us thumbs up and, you know, I was about to say the finger, but, you know, #1. And, you know, considering you know, 5 years ago he couldn't speak English, and now he's driving around giving us a commentary in a foreign language.
And now he's better than you.
Well, he's out there doing it, isn't he? So.
No, not with driving, I meant at talking English.
Well, anyone's, yeah, probably understand him better than me.
It's that Birmingham accent. So, as the cars line up on the grid, Gianfilippi will fill the front row all by himself. And then it'll be Ivan Muller and Marc-Quing Hua on the second row. Then it's Norby Michelis and Nicky Katzberg on the third row. Gianfilippi almost, no, he's in his grid spot, and it'll seem like an eternity for the rest of the cars to line up. We'll have 17 on the grid, and then it will be Tom Coronel starting from the pit lane, I do believe. The green flag is waving, the red lights are now on. Nearly, yes they are. And that's a jump start, is it, from Gianfilippi? That's certainly questionable. Our pole man did look to move before those green lights went off. Ivan Muller and Marc-Quing Hua challenging him down into turn 1, and Muller around the outside. He's going to run wide. Filippi coming back at him. Muller, importantly, managing to block off Marc-Quing Hua. But Gianfilippi retakes the lead. Did he go before those red lights went off, Matt?
Oh, it was marginal, but if you were really strict, you would have to say yes. And Loeb off on the outside on the AstroTurf. One of the larders sideways.
Stefano D'Aste in that as
Oh,
well.
and Chilton off in the gravel. Can he keep it going?
Well,
Tom.
He's got a long way to get back onto the circuit. Need a pass to get back in from there. Marquin Hua blocking Norby Michelis, who's now challenging the Chinese driver.
Michelis needs to keep out of trouble here, not get tangled up with Ma, but...
And there's Mehdi Benani, Matt. Look, Mehdi Benani ahead of Hugo Vallant and Thiago Montero. Nicky Katzberg off in that melee as well.
Amazingly, Philippi's still holding out in front.
I want to see a replay of the start. Mehdi Benani going slightly wide. That's going to compromise his exit. Look at the run Hugo Vallant has got. And are we going to see a safety car?
Yeah.
Yes, we are. It's on the graphic. So, as it stands, Jean-Philippe is leading the race, but for how long for? Ivan Muller was certainly aggressive into turn one, wasn't he? He knew that if he could get the lead, he was going to be in a great position for the rest of the race. So that's the yellow flag on the start and finish line.
It's amazing because Philippi did get a good start. It was arguable whether he jumped it, but then the Citroën still, with their speed, Muller was clearly in front of him, but Philippi didn't give up. I thought he was going to roll over into turn one, and he got stuck into the back of Muller and muscled his way back through.
So, the big movers and shakers. Safety car is out here in Qatar. We've had an incident involving Stefano D'Aste, Nicky Katzberg. Tom Chilton was in that as well, but has rejoined further down the field. Jean-Philippe it is that leads. Big movers and shakers. Tom Coronel didn't start from the front row, so he started from the pit lane. He's now 15th, ahead of the recovering Chilton, who went a long way off. These gravel traps, very, very large indeed.
Still better than hitting the barriers, though. This means we've got to follow old Bruno. Here we go.
Now, we want to see the lights as well, because for me, he was definitely moving. Look.
He was moving. He did seem to move and then come out of it a bit.
Yeah, but if you're still
but
moving,
he's rolling. Now, what
moving.
happened there?
We just got the tail end of it. I mean, look how far Tom Chilton's gone off
there.
there.
Someone got Katzberg sideways, and that set off a chain reaction with the cars behind him, it seemed. Because Katzberg was starting sort of back end of the top six.
I'm pretty sure this is a replay of Gabriele Tarquini in race one at turn one. Could be wrong there, but...
Our dynamic safety car driver, Bruno Carrera, leading him round. See how quickly they can get the cars tidied up.
Is that an Alfa Romeo 4C? I think it is, isn't it? It's a groovy looking little sports car. That's going to take a while to move. Rear suspension damage.
I would imagine that's going to be in there permanent.
Start of car number 27 under investigation, Jean-Philippe. And normally, when race control investigate your start, it doesn't tend to end, or doesn't tend to have a happy ending to that.
It'll be a shame because, you know, we'd have a good fight on our hands there, because with Philippi and Muller wanting to chomp on at the back of him. But I think if we pull Philippi in, Muller will go, which will stop that little bit of entertainment for us.
And talk us through that. Is that just nerves, Jean-Philippe, not accustomed to being on pole position?
Oh, your fingers on the trigger, isn't it? You know, it's who blinks first. You're trying to anticipate, you know, split seconds, because he knows both the Citroëns behind him are very fast out the block, so he'll be literally quivering in the blocks like a 100-meter sprinter.
Is it me, or is not much happening here?
Well, yeah.
We're just about
maybe
to complete
they've flown
our
for the
first...
AA and they're all the way on the way from the UK or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of standing around, a lot of tyre kicking. It's a bit like you, Matt, when you're going to buy a second-hand car.
Maybe they just need some British Marshals.
Yeah, shout out to the British Marshals whenever we can, because they really are special, as are all the marshals around the world, because without the marshals, it's a volunteer's role, we would have no racing. And I think a lot of racing drivers forget that in the heat of the moment. So all those marshals out there, big shout out to you. And Jose Maria Lopez just carrying some damage. He's down in 12th, he started 10th. So his trend of not doing it in the second race continues at this juncture.
Yeah, someone just sent a question in. How about making race 2 the main race next year? And in fact, the Eurosport WTC people have recognised this, and we are going to do the qualifying in similar format next year. But then the reverse grid will be the first race of the day, as we are now being told. So the second race of the day will be as you qualify. So this means they're saying the quick boys have got to be sensible and put them under a bit of pressure in the first race to look after the cars for the second race. Then the second race, they're telling us it will be a longer affair, more of a feature race.
That defeats the object of reverse grid. Reverse grid is all about bumping and boring and seeing the quick guys with their knees and elbows out.
You think that? I think that.
Nasser Al-Attiyah on screen getting plenty of coverage. He is the home boy.
The other change we're getting for next year, Tom, just while we got the safety car out, is the maximum weight at the moment of 60 kilos, the balance and performance weight, which the Citroen's carrying there on about upping to 80. So increasing that, and that will then be further reviewed race by race. So they've got the right to increase it, decrease it as they see fit, but they've got to be careful adding weights because it will increase brake wear. You know, it could push the tyre to the limits of its envelope. They're only designed to carry so much weight with the heat, especially in these hot climates.
Yeah, that was a really good point you raised off air. And what you will get also is excessive brake wear and so on. 80 kilos is a huge amount. I mean, I don't even weigh 80 kilos, so...
in your dreams.
I don't. It's that red wine. Another question on Twitter. Thanks so much for all of you tweeting in and joining us at Tom Gamer and at Matt Neal Racing. Franco Liners saying, will the FIA remain a front-wheel drive only series? That's a good question. We'd love to see the BMWs back. We're going to hear from Nicky Katzberg first, though.
Very disappointed faces down here in Lada, but also very confused faces. One from Nocci who doesn't have a clue what happened there. You believe that you got hit from behind, but you don't know who by.
No, I think this was the best start of the season for me. I got off the line really quickly, kept in P5, and then in turn 1, I ran a bit wide. I touched, I think, a Citroen on the left, and then in turn 2 I just turned in and got a massive hit from behind, sideways. Then my rear left wheel was off or loose, and then yeah, I just tried to go on the side because I knew I was out, and then Dust, I think he could not avoid me, he didn't see me. So big hit. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. I was hoping for a good result. Finally good start. We have had the pace all weekend long, so it's not a nice way to finish the season.
You feel okay physically?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Good. Thanks, Nocci.
So Nicky Katzberg clattered in turn 2, and there's Stefano D'Aste. Look at that brilliant race suit. Resembles a pinstripe suit and a red tie.
Because I saw him.
Let's listen to what he's saying.
Tire broken, and I thought, oh shit, now he will turn.
So Stefano just explaining there what happened.
It looks like Stefano got in the back of Katzberg.
He did. So Katzberg's been clattered, and he's trying to recover and pull off. So this is very similar to Gabriele Tarquini in race 1.
That's Tarquini's.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is, but well, it has to be Tarquini's. It is. It is Tarquini's, as I said earlier.
Let's go back down to the pit lane and see what else is going on.
Stefano D'Aste just being consoled by his team man, Dominic Greiner. Stefano, from your perspective, did you have any idea what happened?
No, I don't know, because when the Nicky car appeared in front of me, he was already on one side. He was sliding because I saw one wheel in the back that was broken. And I felt like somebody touched me in the back, and my car started in oversteering because I was trying to pass him on the right. And when the car started in oversteering, I controlled the car turning on the left. But when I came back, I crashed in the car of Nicky. That was he was in front of me like 90 degrees, and he couldn't disappear. I couldn't push the disappear button, so there were no chance.
It's been a disappointing weekend for you, considering yesterday's great performance.
Yeah. We had a great performance. I was really happy. I'm still happy because we showed that we can be very quick working in a hard way. And yes, in second race could be better. But you know, starting from the back is always not easy. And race 1 was really good. We did a very good race, a good fight. But yeah, race 2, it is a little unlucky. Yes, and probably in the front they did. I don't know who touched Nicky, because when he appeared, he was already with the car broken in the back.
Thanks very much, Stefano.
Yeah, ciao.
So plenty of insight there from Stefano D'Aste, and very much the character of World Touring Cars with that pinstripe suit. He's also got a Captain America one, a Lederhosen one, and really is the life and soul of the party.
If one thing Stefano can do, he can talk. Ben was off camera there, and I can see Ben snatching the microphone back off him very, very quickly. But yeah, good insight.
Yeah, so still under safety car conditions because of a crash between Stefano D'Aste and Nicky Katzberg. Tom Chilton also involved in that, but he's recovered. Good to have Paul O'Neill watching, although he's claiming I'm 180 kilos and not 80 kilos. So don't worry, Paul, I'll get you back. And you just see the dust offline there. Still prominent. And the wind picks up. It's amazing that we are now approaching 11 o'clock as well, local time. Have you ever raced at 11 o'clock at night, Matt?
Well, it's, as I say, it's a good job Jimmy Thompson's not in the championship anymore, because he'd be having to pull off for the bar by now. But
before they shut.
Yeah. For his Rosewater.
Exactly. There you go. That's all we're insinuating. So
did I see the safety car lights out then?
Let's hope so, because it was a fairly innocuous accident. No, they're still burning. But John Filippi under investigation. The car that leads because of a potential jump start. So Jean Filippi in his Campos Racing Chevrolet Cruze.
They're obviously deliberating about it a fair bit.
Well, the safety car will be in this lap, so Filippi will have been told that. That's why he's trying to back the field up. He's leading Ivan Muller. Marquin Hui is in third place. Then it's Norby Michelis, and that's important because Michelis ahead of Mehdi Banani, who's in sixth. They've got Sebastian Loeb between them. Sebastian Loeb fighting Ivan Muller for second place in the main championship. The safety car has pulled off, and Jean-Philippe has gone very early. And on board with Norby Michelis. Plenty of oversteer, and look, Filippi having to just back off because actually the safety car not quick enough, but nevertheless safety car into the pit lane. Jean-Philippe will lead lap 6 across the line.
Let's see the power of these Citroens now. They've got the good run in, they've got a good slipstream down the start-finish straight, so Filippi's going to have to go defensive into here.
So Filippi defensive, and he's got Ivan Muller challenging up into turn 1. There's contact. Filippi goes around. And has Muller stayed on the track? Yes, he has. So poor old Jean-Philippe. Did he come across on Ivan Muller? Ivan Muller looked to have got a good run on the Frenchman, but the pair of them come together, the countryman, into turn 1.
That was quite unbelievable. Filippi opened the door, left it open, and then just went for the apex when the Citroen's on the inside. So
that's what I said. It looked for me that Filippi came across on him. Muller had a good run on him.
It's like he didn't use his mirrors at all. It wasn't even aware Muller was there.
That's what happened. If you're going to defend properly. Don't give the car behind an opportunity. Once they're alongside, you can't do anything about it. Filippi, though, spun around on the restart into turn 1. Let's have another look at that. And he's also got a drive-through. So when When it rains, it pours. So
You know
from
something,
bad
I
to worse.
almost, did he get that communication through the radio before the restart or something? But, you know, he's got to remember that Muller's going for the positions in the championship as well. So, but I know it's a rough, you know, you get the people go on about the works cars beating up the little independents, and you want Philippi to do well, the underdog and all the rest of it. But that was, yeah, I'm on Ivan's side on that one.
Well, here we go. Look.
Where was Muller going to go? You can't reverse the car.
No, the car's there. You can't come across when you have a car. You have to give the car room.
Philippi just goes for the apex when the Citroen's parked on the inside.
There's enough room for the pair of them. And, well, we wait to hear from Felipe after the race on that one. As it stands, Ivan Muller leading them from Marquin Juan. Muller lucky to really keep that lead, because almost got offline into turn one. And that gives Norby Michelis third place overall. Michelis in the black car there, the Zengo Motorsport Honda Civic.
I tell you who's been very conspicuous by his absence from the front this race is Pachito Lopez, currently down in 11th position. Whether he picked up some damage on that opening lap or something. Oh, Norby running wide there, picking up some dust on his tyres. Needs to keep it neat and tidy, otherwise he's going to have Loeb all over the back over him. And if Loeb does him, then Bernani's got the chance to do too.
Now, Bernani is in the best seat in the house here. You can just see him with the red, green and white liveried Citroen LSE. There he is, Mehdi Bernani, number 25. And he's got Sebastian Loeb ahead of him in the factory Citroen. And his championship rival, Norby Michelis, ahead of him in the black Zengo Motorsport Run Honda Civic. So Mehdi Bernani will be hoping that Sebastian Loeb can catch Norby Michelis and start to put him under pressure. For Norby Michelis, it's a difficult dynamic here. He can't afford to just leave the door open, but he can't afford to be too defensive, because if Sebastian Loeb gets rid of him, so to speak, then he could drop behind Mehdi Bernani. Mehdi Bernani needs to finish ahead of Norby Michelis to clinch this Yokohama Drivers' Trophy, which is for independent drivers.
Last lap round, Michelis was the fastest car on the circuit, so he's obviously found some race pace in that Honda of his, so he can sort of just calm himself down, you know, drive a clean race. Oh, who was that? Huffy getting out on the loose stuff.
You don't want to give Jose Maria Lopez an opportunity, because he'll grab it with open arms. Huff trying to go defensive here in the yellow Lada Vesta. Jose Maria Lopez in that white work Citroen, and Rob Huff with a massive oversteer in the middle of the corner, and that's the sort of balance that he's been battling with all weekend.
Yeah, Tarquini having a move on Lapierre as well. We could see from that close-up of Lopez's car, he got a lot of damage on the rear end, so he's obviously been someone's been having a go at him. Good move, good clean move from Tarquini on Lapierre there.
So let's go through the order. 8 laps completed. Ivan Muller leads from Marquin Juan. Norby Michelis third. Sebastian Loeb is fourth ahead of Mehdi Bernani. Then it's Hugo Vallant sixth. Gabriele Tarquini on the march. The likeable Italian struggled all weekend, but he's now into the top 8. Then it's Nicolas Lapierre. Thiago Montero ahead of Jose Maria Lopez just. There is Jose Maria Lopez, winner of race 1, his 10th win of 2015. Got Rob Huff for company. Rob Huff will try and get back on terms.
I mean, Lopez has had a good whack in the back there from someone or another. Maybe that was one of the things that started off the first lap incident.
Looking rather second-hand, isn't it? Well, a few of you on Twitter agreeing that Jean-Philippe maybe at fault there at turn 1. It certainly did look as though he did come across on Ivan Muller, and then to get that drive-through penalty must have just been the worst possible news.
The positive thing is not affected Ivan Muller's pace now, as he's just slotted in the fastest lap so far of this race.
Nasser Al Attiyah.
Who's that running wide? Is that Loeb?
Yeah,
no, Lopez.
It's Lopez, and that gives Rob Huff a chance to maybe snatch that place back. They're fighting for 10th. Huff not quite close enough. Then it's Gregoire de Moustier in 12th, ahead of this man, Nasser Al-Attiyah, in 13th place. Coronel now 14th, ahead of Tom Chilton. So the Raul Motorsport Chevrolet Cruises down in 14th and 15th, having suffered bad luck. Tom Coronel should have started on the front row, but he couldn't get his car fixed after an oil leak in race 1. Poor old Tom Chilton caught up in that incident with Stefano D'Aste and Nicky Katzberg, the incident that brought out the prolonged safety car that we had earlier in the race. On board with Norby Michelis, Sebastian Loeb closing right up on the back of the Honda Civic. It just seems difficult to follow cars in front of you. Michelis running wide there, getting dirt on his tyres, and Loeb thinking about it.
Loeb goes for the kill, has to back out of it. Michelis just managed to gather it up at the last minute.
And the Zengo Motorsport crew looking tense. I mean, I'm on the edge of my seat there, because all Loeb needed to do was roll off that brake, and had he had a piece of that Honda Civic, Mehdi Banani would have been right there. And do you think Norby Michelis would have seen him coming there? What goes through the driver's mind?
Yeah,
He's
you're fully aware
hit.
of what's going on around you. You're trying to drive your own car at the limit, but you're also got to be aware of the 360 environment around you and who's doing what. And he's going to know where Loeb's strong.
5 laps left, and
he's out
Michelis
over the
wide
outside again.
This is where Honda has been struggling. Well, it's Loeb's turn now, and you can just see that
there's a lot of dust and sand coming onto the track, and if they're picking that up from the cars in front, it's going to be a new scenario every time they arrive at a corner. Each corner on each lap, it can be a bit of a lottery how much grip you've got.
Seems to me it's difficult with the aero aids that these World Touring cars have to follow.
4 laps to go, 4 laps for Michelis to survive, 4 laps for Banani to mount the attack, but Banani doesn't have to mount the attack. All he's got to do is rely on Loeb to do that for him.
Yeah, last day at school, 4 laps of the 2015 championship left, and we have a championship at stake, so do not go anywhere, because things could happen very, very quickly here. Norby Michelis ahead of Mehdi Banani as it stands. In the main championship, Ivan Muller needs to score or outscore Sebastian Loeb by 12 points. Ivan Muller leading this race, Sebastian Loeb 4th, and Matt Neal's turn to do some mental maths on air. Past the hot potato.
He will do it. I think he'll do it, actually.
Who? Can't say that without a name.
Yeah, I think Muller will do it by 1 point.
Right.
If they finish in the positions they are now, I think Muller will do it.
Now, this is where things start to get interesting. So, Sebastian Loeb's pit crew will pass that information on. Here comes Jose Maria Lopez on the inside of Nicolas Lapierre. Now, if Sebastian Loeb knows he's got to make a move on the car in front, it's going to be a do or die at the last minute. If it's a do or die at the last minute, it's Norby Michelis that's in front of him. And with Norby Michelis in front of him, if he gets nerfed out of the way, he in turn is battling with Mehdi Banani. So the dynamics here really hotting up in Qatar.
Tom, I think if they finish the order they're in now, Muller and Loeb will finish dead level. By my calculations, they will finish dead level on points, which means Muller should get it on the count back of wins, doesn't he? Who's had the most wins this year?
Right, I will tell you that right now. I will get my stats out, or you can do that whilst I watch the racing. Sebastian Loeb has to pass Norby Michelis.
Yeah, Muller would win it 6 wins to 4 if he wins this one.
So all eyes on the battle between 3rd, 4th and 5th. Muller's out front, he's gone. He's doing all he can. But what Sebastian Loeb can do is rob Huff returns to the pit lane. That Lada Vesta obviously crying enough, and it's going to be rolled back into that Lada Sport Rosneft garage.
3 laps to go. This fight between the Zenga Motorsport Honda Civic Type R of Norby Michelitz and the Citroen Racing of Sebastian Loeb.
Well, if Sebastian Loeb is going to bow out of this World Touring Car Championship, this could be his last ever race. He will want to do it with 2nd place in the championship. Poor old Norby Michelitz has got a big bully on the back of that car.
It's all to play for. The Elise is working well. Citroen Elise is working well. Just seem to struggle when they get up close. Norby just can't make a mistake. He's using every inch of the circuit and every inch of curb at the moment.
Well, Franco Liners has tweeted in saying, will Sebastian Loeb help Mehdi Benani? Well, by helping Mehdi Benani, he'll be helping himself, because Sebastian Loeb needs to overtake Norby Michelitz. If Sebastian Loeb overtakes Norby Michelitz, that allows Michelitz into the clutches of Mehdi Benani. If Mehdi Benani passes Norby Michelitz, then Benani will be crowned the Yokohama driver champion. Let me get my words out. It's all becoming a bit too much. It is late at night.
Late at night, it's exciting.
And I haven't been
Chilton
to the bar.
back in the mix again now. And he's back up to 13th place, so he's been going well, considering that off. He was fortunate he had the pace car to let him catch up. Ooh, Montero throwing it down the inside of Lopez. Not quite.
Lopez is probably enjoying having some action.
I'm sure he'd be enjoying more just streaking out in front. And
well, he'd be enjoying the plaudits and what comes after the race, but you know, nothing beats getting your knees and elbows out. So Lopez up the inside of Thiago Montero's Honda Civic into turn 1.
Yeah, good clean pass. Then Montero tries to come back at him. So Lopez is making steady progress, but he's still only up to 8th place at the moment. So and he's got a bit of air now to sort of get his head down, see if he can make a bit of progress before he catches up to Tarquini in the sister Castrol Honda.
Well, Ivan Muller's on a Sunday drive, albeit Friday. There's Marc Winhua in 2nd place. Norby Michelitz driving superbly well, showing his class, the Hungarian here, in that Honda, because Sebastian Loeb can't get near him. And that is rather ominous for Sebastian Loeb and also Mehdi Benani. Mehdi Benani in the Sebastian Loeb Racing Run Citroen behind Sebastian Loeb in the factory Citroen, and both of them need to get past the car that we're on board with, the black Zengo Motorsport Honda Civic of Norby Michelitz. There they are on the straight. There is Michelitz.
You have to take your hat off to Michelitz at key points this year. He has absorbed pressure, and we were on about this earlier, weren't we, Tom, with professional sports people, how some fear failure and some look forward, you know, to the pressure of they raise their game to pressure situations, and that's exactly what we're seeing Norby do at the moment. You watch, he's going to probably put a wheel wide as I say that, but at the moment, as he has done previously this year, he's just driving impeccably, inch perfect.
Yeah, it's so easy to make a mistake with the pressure he's got now on his shoulders, knowing what's at stake as we ride on board with Ivan Muller. But Norby Michelitz showing his class. You can't take anything away from him. Sebastian Loeb just can't get near enough. Not even near enough just to send it and see. And that'll be frustrating the Frenchman.
Oh, just Alexander has come through. Possible brake failure for Huffy to put him out, unfortunately.
There is the Pratt Perch, the Zengo Motorsport pit crew, looking on because their man is 3rd overall and on course to win the Yokohama Drivers' Trophy. By doing so, keeping Sebastian Loeb at bay means that Ivan Muller, who is currently 3rd in the championship, is going to leapfrog Sebastian Loeb to finish runner-up overall to Jose Maria Lopez. All change. We got one more lap left here in Qatar. 5.38 kilometers of this Losail International Circuit. Who's it gonna be? Who's your money on? I can't see Loeb doing it. He can't get close at the moment. I just hope your maths is right, Matt.
I'm hoping my maths is right. I'm just reading it again. That's why I've gone quiet a bit.
Exactly. I could see the pensive look on your face. No pressure.
I'll be eating humble pie again.
Yeah, at Matt Neal Racing on Twitter if he gets it wrong. Hugo Vallon down the straight. And comfortably inside the top 10, ahead of Gabriele Tarquini's factory Honda. The Honda Civic there, the number 2 car. Just behind that, Chevy Cruze of Hugo Vallon. Vallon on the podium in the first race. Another driver that's qualified well, raced well. Ivan Muller in familiar territory, a 4-time World Touring Car champion. He had a poor round last time out with 2 DNFs. That allowed Sebastian Loeb to leapfrog him into 2nd place.
This is just what we need for Muller to go into the winter break, though. We need him to arrive back in 2016 with all his arrogance and determination to take the fight to Lopez for us to watch next year. And this is a great way for Ivan to finish the season if he can pull this one off.
Yeah, a few of you saying Sebastian Loeb should drop back to help Mehdi Banani. He can't afford to do that. He's in a fight for 2nd place overall in the main championship. He needs to pass Norby Michelis for his own sake. So don't expect that dynamic to roll out. But you're right, Ivan Muller needs to finish on a high. That makes the winter that all the more refreshing. Just that optimism then moving into 2016.
You know, any sport at any level is, I mean, you take the physical attributes out of it, it's such a psychological game of, I thought I saw some waving inside Loeb's car, but it was the light flashing, and which would be quite disorientating from the driver as if they get some of those overhead floodlights pointing in the wrong way at all.
Ivan Muller across the line here in Qatar to win the final race of 2015. His 6th win of the campaign. A really, really good drive. And Norby Michelis is gonna win the Yokohama Drivers' Trophy. And that's what it means to the Zengo Motorsport crew, because he finishes 3rd ahead of Marquin Hua.
Zoltan Zenga, the boss of Zenga Motorsport there, he's a happy bunny. I think they'll have a good party.
Alan Prost has tweeted in saying, was that someone crunching their gears or was it Matt Neal doing maths?
You can see the cogs whirring. Well, no, now we know Norby's won the Yokohama Trophy. Just need to confirm what's happened in the overall.
And that was a fantastic drive by the Hungarian. He was under a huge amount of pressure throughout the whole of that race. Survived at the beginning, then he had a safety car restart, and then he had Sebastian Loeb monster the back of that Zengo Motorsport Honda throughout, with Mehdi Banani there ready to pick up the scraps should there be any. Marquin Hua drove well for 2nd place. Ivan Muller sublime out front, as he so often is when he gets the opportunity.
That does confirm Muller as P2 in the championship, Tom.
It does.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Ivan Muller. Congratulations, Matt Neal, on your maths. So Ivan Muller, the bridesmaid. Jose Maria Lopez, the bride. But today is about Norby Michelis as well, picking up that Yokohama Drivers' Trophy. And the Zengo Motorsport crew, they might make it to the bar. 20 past 11 local time. Cars now returning to Parc Ferme. I tell you what, another good drive from Gabriele Tarquini, finishing 7th overall. Tarquini started 14th. Jose Maria Lopez started 10th, finished 8th. So race 1 winner not really benefiting from the reverse grid. Tom Coronel started from the pit lane up to 12th. The recovering Tom Chilton 13th. Alatir would have enjoyed his WTCC debut. Jean-Philippe bringing up the rear in 15th. The story of what could have been for him.
And as you mentioned earlier, Tom, you know, as we come back looking forward for next year, we've got Volvo arriving, we've got other manufacturers looking, we've got other teams. So there's going to be a bit of a shake about. There's going to be a few drivers staying where they are. There's going to be a few drivers jumping around between teams. And so I think we've got a lot of stuff, a lot of hard racing to look forward to next year.
So we're going to leave quickly here on Eurosport International. Ivan Muller it is, who's won his 6th win or 6th race of 2015. Well, that's it from me, Tom Gamel, and Matt Neal for the 2015 World Touring Car Championship. The finale has been a great event here in Qatar, the first time under the lights at the Losail International Circuit. Jose Maria Lopez, your champion overall. Ivan Muller, 2nd. Those two will be back to battle in 2016. But as we said, from myself, Tom Gamel, and Matt Neal, we look forward to seeing you next year.